Hi guys. Okay, so this is a requested video. Someone wanted to know an update about Cristiano Ronaldo and his current situation, because he's asked to maybe leave Manchester United if they can get a suitable offer. And of course, I'm very happy to oblige, because he's been my favorite player for the past 16 years. And of course, I'm also quite eager to find out, what his current cosmic significators are saying in terms of his direction, the future direction he may want to take. So the question is, like the requested question was, is it possible that he maybe might move to Chelsea? But for me, of course, the question is also like, what are the stars, the planets, what are they saying about him, like in general, like his current situation, like what is the status? Is there going to be any move at all? What is currently like going on in the background? What's the lesson for him? What is going on inside? What is going on behind the scenes? So let's have a look at his chart. So we've got his birth chart on the left. So I have to say, this is the chart. I always use the chart that is based on the birth time that his mother gave, which is 10:20 a.m. There is another birth time which is 5:25 a.m. and that's on his birth certificate. However, I decided to go with the birth time that his mother gave, because it makes more sense to me. And I remember reading someone knew his sister, or talked to his sister, and she also confirmed that it was 10:20, and she also could not understand why there was a 5:25 a.m. birth time on the birth certificate. She said that is not right. So I trust his sister, I trust his mother, and I just trust my astrological instincts, hopefully well developed after having studied this for decades now. So also I'm going with this chart, 10:20 a.m. So that gives him an early Aries rising, and also Venus and Mars very near the ascendant. We know Mars here in the Gauguin zone is the classic when it comes to successful athletes. So they did in the past, they did some studies like statistics, and they examined lots of athletes charts, and this on the Mars rising theme was very it was like a standout when it came to athletes charts, especially very successful. And we know that Cristiano is absolutely 150% dedicated to training every day. He's got his own gym. He trains at the club, and then he even showed up at his local gym a couple of weeks ago, and people were like totally like, oh my god. And it was not enough for him, so he even signed up to the local gym and he did some workouts there. So super dedicated, so constantly extremely physical, and very, very, very athletic. Like, just when you look at him, and then the Venus on top, that's the the model and the athlete all in one. And I think it really suits his archetype. And we still get the Capricorn on the axis as a midheaven. Otherwise it would have been his rising, but I don't see it as his rising. It's still equally important as his midheaven, and then we've got Neptune on the midheaven. Otherwise it would have been Capricorn rising with Neptune on the ascendant. But I'm going with this. So it's interesting right now. We know the sign of Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, and Saturn is currently here in Aquarius around 24 degrees. So everything like big career decisions in his chart is being ruled by Capricorn, and we have to look at what Saturn is doing, and also of course of what natal Saturn is doing, like the aspect natal Saturn gets. And so we have currently a square going on, so transiting Saturn is squaring natal Saturn. I'm just going to put these two together here, it's much easier to see. Right, so natal charts, inside wheel, outer wheel, current transits. Okay, so here you can see Saturn in Aquarius retrograde, and it's squaring natal Saturn. It has not reached the exact square. This will take a little while, but it's already come very near. So there is, what I can see right now is that there is a phase, there is like this inner battle, because when it comes to Saturn, we always talk about, we think about really long-term decisions, really big decisions, especially when it's really very closely connected to the midheaven, and it's connected to his opportunities in terms of success and recognition. Obviously, he wants to be in a place where he can get even more of that recognition and break more records and score more goals. And of course, that would mean that he needs to play for a club that is able to be a part of all the big competitions, right? Because we're going for the big success. And I think the main problem he's facing right now is, I believe that he truly, in his heart, he truly loves Manchester United. That's where his heart belongs. He's still regularly in contact with Sir Alex, and they visit each other. And I think he truly wants to settle down there. And I don't think he really regrets the decision or something. But right now, something very tricky is happening, because for the first time, if he stays on for now, he's not going to play in the Champions League the next season. And then this is for him the major thing. He is used to it. This is the biggest competition, and he's played in this competition for 19 consecutive years. So just imagine that, being in the highest level competition, and you are used to competing on that level, and you're still physically capable of competing in that level. And of course, he wants to score more goals and break more records and be better than other players and keep challenging himself. This is a super athlete, a highly ambitious type of person, and he's also, this is his life force. It's where he derives all his energy and motivation. This is why he really wants to keep going, and he keeps training so hard, and he's still so good and in such good shape. So right now, United are sitting in 6th place in the table, and they barely made the 6th place. So they will only be playing in the Europa League next season. They will not be able to offer him any Champions League football. So I think that is a big decision here around Saturn, because Saturn is like, highest performance, highest level achievements, and that's what he needs to go for. So I think there's an inner battle here also where his loyalty lies. Saturn is an indicator of loyalty very much, and in that sense, obviously, it's connected with like where your long-term commitment lies, and if you make a big decision, you want to make sure that it's truly based on the things or a foundation that you can 100% get behind and that you truly value. So I think making that big decision, that's back and forth. But because Saturn is retrograde now and it's moving away from the exact square, it's not reached the exact square yet. That will happen before Saturn moves into Pisces. That is next March, I believe. So probably the exact square will be maybe between January, February or something. So I think it's going to be February. Yeah, I think I looked that up earlier. I think February it's going to be the first exact square transiting Saturn here, and natal Saturn here in Scorpio. So, and it's Scorpio Saturn in the 8th house, which is like so super committed. It's almost impossible. It's almost impossible, to break away. So whenever he makes a big change or career change or decision, he must be 150% or more like 1000% convinced that he's doing the right thing. It's always, doing the right thing with Saturn. It's always staying loyal to your principles, but also staying loyal to the people that have committed to your course and that have believed in you, and also, of course, the contracts you have signed. And obviously, he's got 1 year left on his contract. He signed a 2-year contract when he rejoined United last summer. So technically, he will have to see out this year. And he's even there's photos of him modeling the new kit for the new season. So, and he said he's happy there, and I truly believe that he's happy there. He's just really disappointed, and I think Saturn, being the absolute incorporation, or the absolute incarnation, not incorporation, or maybe of disappointment connected with expectations. So I think he had really had such high hopes. And when he was, after a couple of weeks after he had returned, and they did interviews with him, and I remember him saying in the first interview, and he was so highly motivated, and he could still, but at the same time, because with all of his experience, so much, he's such an experienced player, he can see like the deficits, he can see what needs to be improved, and he can see all the potential of all the various players, and also when it comes to the whole setup and organization of the club. So I think he's got a very good understanding of what works, what doesn't work, what needs to change, which type of players are suitable, which type of players have to make more of an effort. And people actually pointed that out, that he's actually been quite critical, especially of the younger, some of the younger players, that he believes they are not committed enough or not working hard enough. They don't have the right attitude and the right mindset. For him, mindset is everything. So you can't win titles if you don't have the right mindset, right? So, and obviously that's something that United's seriously lacking here, and he realizes that very much. So this is about facing the truth, Saturn square, and deciding if you still want to commit. But I can't see him making a decision to leave while Saturn is retrograde right now. It could surprise me though. However, also Uranus is already past the exact square, transiting Uranus here is now at 18 degrees, and Cristiano's natal sun is here at 16 and a bit degrees. So so that didn't like catapult him out of that situation. So it means he was like maybe on the verge, or he's like on the verge if he has really demanded to if he wants to leave, you say, look, if there is any suitable offers coming in, would you let me, would you agree to me leaving and terminating the contract? But I'm not feeling that he really wants to. It's just because he is so driven. He is used to that level of competition, performance, success. He just needs to make sure, that's in his nature, that he lays the foundation, that he secures that foundation where he can just get the biggest revenue, the greatest results. Saturn is about results. So results related to the environment that would even enable him to produce these results, right? So so that was really a big blow, like being just kicked out of the Champions League, of course, for the club. And so right now it's really a bit up in the air. So I can definitely see that, but at the same time I feel it's a bit hard to believe that he would make the decision right now. I can't really see him leaving now. Maybe making the decision to leave after the next season, after he has seen out the full length of his contract, the 2 years that he signed. That may be a possibility. Also, we need to, I just briefly want to point out Jupiter. Yeah, so of course Jupiter here is very near the ascendant, so it's all summer it's going to be very close here to the ascendant, and it won't take long for Jupiter to turn retrograde, and then we go back into Pisces end of October. So like August, September, October will be a strong Jupiter again on his ascendant. Jupiter rules the 9th house. That's also about personal growth, looking where your best opportunities lie, looking where you can experience the best. Well, Jupiter is about elevation really, and it's about success and expansion. So having someone of that type of mindset, someone who truly believes that can always become better and always can improve. There's just no limitation of his when it comes to his abilities. There's no limitation when it comes to growing and improving and becoming an even better player, and more experience and more success and all of that. So I think this is, of course, it will be very tempting now to look at other options, because we know that Jupiter wants us to look at options, it wants us to look at possibilities, like other open doors, maybe an upgrade, something better. So right now he must be very much under the impression that this is not the upgrade he was hoping for. And I think this ties in with, the disappointment he's feeling, because he's also really feels a strong bond and connection with his club, who really built him and made him the star that he is today. So that must be a very tricky challenge, mentally, emotionally, of course, as well. Dealing with all of that and trying to find a balance. So I think but he will keep looking for options for sure, like over the next couple weeks and months, and that's definitely understandable. And but I can't actually see him leaving after just 1 year. It would be odd. I'm not ruling it out, but it doesn't look like, it just seems like there's more internal conversation to be had. There's more things to be pondered, maybe also coming to terms with his own goals and expectations, and all this loyalty, commitment type of questions that come up when you've got such a strong Saturn theme going on, and then eventually come to a conclusion or resolution, like if by the end of next season they still have not reached that Champions League spot again, which would mean they would have to end up 4th place at least, that he then won't renew his contract. There is still not the option to even extend for another year. So I think this is the more likely timeline, at least what I can see. I want to say something briefly in terms of the Chelsea question that came up. I think the question was like, is it likely that he would go to Chelsea? So what I did, I had a quick look at the chart of when Chelsea FC was founded, and it is interesting that in the chart of Chelsea, well, obviously it would be quite unlike, technically, just not even looking at anything astrological, it's normally not so likely that, especially United, I don't think they are very keen to sell to players to one of the biggest rivals within the country. But if you put that to the side, we can see something quite interesting in the chart of Chelsea, which was founded on 10th of March in 1905. Can you believe it? Okay. So because that chart has a Saturn at about 27 degrees of Aquarius. So that means that the Chelsea Football Club is currently also having its personal Saturn return. So that kind of ties in with this current Saturn energy, going on. And the Saturn in the Chelsea chart is then an exact square to Cristiano's natal Saturn as well. So that may be like maybe a vibrational match, but also a big challenge. But it's interesting to see that this Saturn currently is also the Chelsea Saturn return happening. And because Cristiano is an Aquarius sun as well, there is, I do see there is some vibrational alignment there, or at least something overlapping maybe. Also super interesting is that there is Uranus in Capricorn, and it falls right on Cristiano's midheaven. So that is another interesting thing. So there might be a surprise there. I can't see it happening this season. I would think it's rather unlikely, but the temptation obviously is really high, because Cristiano is so much in the mindset of needing to grow and to improve even further, and it's all about expansion. And now the Saturn square is kind of confronting him with the cruel reality of having to take a step back, not being able to compete in the highest level right now. So not being top of, what is not what he's used to, and so he has to be content with having less, playing in the Europa League, and they barely made that. It would have been even one below. So I think there's these Saturn and Jupiter are both important and strong at this moment, and it's like his loyalty and long-term commitment versus where he truly feels his heart is and his heart belongs, but also needing to follow his natural drive and his natural motivation. So I think he will be looking at options, but more likely will take some time before he makes a final decision. So right now, looking at the reports, obviously you can't really trust the news reports that much, because they say something different every single day, or sometimes multiple times in one day. And this paper reports this paper says, oh yeah, he's asked to leave. And then all the Portuguese papers, they say, no, he hasn't. And Cristiano himself, I think, has not said anything himself officially. So it's really very, very uncertain what is, what truly happened. And then another report says, not many clubs are interested. The next day you hear there's offers from this club and this club, and yes, Chelsea are interested, even Juventus want him back, or whatever is going on, or even Bayern, in Germany. So it really is going back and forth. So we've got Jupiter on the ascendant, which is obviously needing to go looking at options. Is that right? Is this good enough? I need to do better. And the current setup, the current reality, and does not allow me to raise my game and to even become better, because then he would not have any Champions League goals being added to his tally, and not any further records, and all these things. Obviously they do matter to him, they are important to him. And it's an interesting time. He's also just had his nodes return, the axis now being around here, 20 degrees of Taurus. So there's big decisions in terms of directions and what he truly values. Taurus, second house. Yeah, so that would be my prediction. I would not rule it out. Even a move to Chelsea, maybe I would not rule out, although I think Cristiano would be more inclined than to play in a different country rather than a different club within the UK or England. But he will ponder options. I don't think it's time yet for him to shift. Maybe he needs to have this experience with under the Saturn square and say, look, maybe it's important to experience something maybe on a bit of a lower level. And even though that's not what he wants, and it's really frustrating, must be incredibly frustrating to technically be in the right place and the club that he loves and everything around it, but not having the chance of competing at the level that he's on, the level that he is used to. And so I think that's an inner battle, and maybe it's going on for a while. And who knows, maybe they will be able, even if he stays on and he plays a part in their, Europa League next season, maybe they can even win that, or to maybe do very well. And then this was maybe a worthwhile experience, that even on that level, it can still feel very good to have this kind of success, and you can still get the results. So, results-oriented mindset versus, where's my true loyalty? Where do I truly also belong? And where do I want to settle? And if you look at Taurus and Taurus North Node in the second house, this is, even though he's a, Aquarius, he likes to be settled long-term. And obviously now he's got a big family and everything. Doesn't want to move around every couple months. And, So this, I think, is very interesting to observe. Pretty sure I'm going to give you a couple more updates on what is happening there. I'm pretty sure more updates will come, and then we'll see the actual outcome. So maybe even that will be a very tough decision for him to, leave after 2 years. But I think this Saturn retrograde phase is about, seeing how it goes. Maybe having another experience, different experience on a lower level, even though it's frustrating, and then see if there is an improvement there. If there is an improvement there, because he was so positive about the club and the players, and we need a bit of time to to really gel and really get to know each other, and for the team to really become a team and everything. So I don't know if you can keep up this mindset even after all these frustrating experiences, and the team dressing room being totally chaotic, disrupted, and really no unity, no strategy, no nothing. And if you can still I think they need a senior player like him, and they could really benefit from his enthusiasm and experience, and his willingness to just support the younger players and show them the ropes. Maybe then during this time, at the end of this next season, he will have another look at the situation, say, okay, are we getting here somewhere with a new coach? Erik ten Hag just came in, just taken over the squad, and then maybe then it will be time for the evaluation early next year, maybe on February, with the first exact Saturn square. Then it will be time to really make a final decision. Do you want to stay? Is there any chance of improvement, or is it just going to continue with all these uncertainty and no improvement, and then maybe make a new choice? Okay. So this got much longer than I had intended, but hopefully you will agree Cristiano is always worth it. So please let me know your comments. Very interested to know how you see the situation. Also, if you have more question about this or anything else astrology related, of course, just leave me your comments. Please give it a share, a like, and subscribe to my channel if you like my content, and I'll see you very soon on the next video. Bye bye.